I'm the adorable Nimue, super cute, super fwa, you know the drill. But I'm here with Allah.
Hi, that's me. I'm Allah.
He's a floating head. And we're here on the couch. You want to explain what the couch is?
The couch is a podcasty sort of thing that we've decided to set up, where we will talk about various movies, watch them, talk them, and potentially some shows or anime at some point.
Oh yeah, it's going to be so much fun. And today we're going to be talking about The Mummy. Pretty great.
The 99 version, which apparently isn't even the first one, which I didn't know beforehand. Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah. And since it was your suggestion, Nimbus, mind taking over the summary?
Yeah, a brief synopsis of the film. Well, it is hard to kind of synopsisize because it is a little bit basic.
Messy.
Yeah, well, messy as well. A little bit messy. Basically,
people have said it's like an Indiana Jones sort of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of an Indiana Jones, fun action, not too serious. Back in the day, you know how it is. Ancient Egyptian priest be flirting around with the pharaoh's wife, girlfriend, which he should not be doing, by the way. And obviously, you know, gets caught and found out, and rituals of bringing people back to life. It's pretty intense. So he gets cursed and mummified, and like as you do back in the day. And then
they did stab the pharaoh after being caught.
Yeah, it's true, because like his girlfriend's like, oh, you know, my body is not your temple anymore, and then they both kill the pharaoh, and then she takes the blame, and then the bodyguards she kills herself because like, I'm going to die anyway. No. And then the priest is like, oh, I love her so much, I'm going to bring her back using ancient rituals. And then unfortunately that doesn't work because you shouldn't be doing that. And then the pharaoh's bodyguards kind of mummify him in a horrible way, cursing him for all eternity, but giving him the opportunity, I suppose, using magic spells to come back. And if he does come back, well, then curses and the whole world will go to shit. And that's when some dipshit woman comes in, starts reading ancient books, and then all hell breaks loose. Fun.
To be fair, her brother found the thing, the compass, the key.
You're right.
On the map, so.
You're right. Her brother did find the key to open the book, but she was the one that read out loud the magic spell of an ancient book called the Book of the Dead. And she knew full well it was the Book of the Dead, and that it was probably some ancient ritual stuff. I'm just saying she could read ancient Egyptian. It's like when you find the Necronomicon in the basement, which is a book covered in human flesh, and it's like, oh, look at this book covered in human flesh and written in blood. I better read from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to be fair, if you find that in your basement, you have whole other problems to take care of.
Yeah, don't touch
regardless, but yeah, well, how did it even get there in the first place, you know?
What, the book?
Yeah.
Well, the book was in a cabin. Don't read strange... This isn't about the Evil Dead. This is about the Mummy.
No.
We'll get to the Evil Dead eventually. Not today, though. The Mummy. So we start off with Evie and her brother, Jonathan. And he finds a key. He finds a key. In reality, he steals the key. But he finds a key. And...
Which, by the way, kind of a disgusting introduction to him.
I don't know. I like the character Jonathan. I think he's great.
Oh, I think he's a bit annoying.
Oh, really?
He was a bit annoying. Well, no, but think of it this way, right? He is in the library. He finds that sarcophagus, lies down with that God knows how ancient mummy, basically cuddling with it.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, I'm just saying, I wouldn't go in there just to prank my sister, you know?
I thought it was funny. Like back in the day, what are you gonna do? Like this was like based in back when Egyptology was a big thing, when the British were over in Egypt and they were doing all the excavations. So, you know, it was back in the day. They didn't have technology like we do now. So it would make sense to have fun by bullying your sister, by pretending the mummies are alive, you know, like it's old school fun back in the day.
Joining an old mummy in a sarcophagus.
Yeah, but the point is, Jonathan is a bit of a a bit of a thing.
jokester.
Yeah, he's a jokester. He doesn't really care much about things. He's just interested in basically wealth and having fun and messing around. Like that's what he likes to do. But he loves his sister. He does love his sister. So
To be fair, he was fun to watch regardless of him being annoying.
I thought he did comic relief really well. I thought he was one of those rare instances of comic relief characters that work, because sometimes you can get comic relief characters where they'll just say something funny because, oh, we better say something funny here. But I feel like Jonathan was done in a way that it makes sense for like some like.
To be fair,
yeah,
most of his jokes, like the most funniest jokes, which included him, weren't even directly jokes told by him. They were more jokes including him, you know? Which I think made it a bit better. Like, my favorite one from the movie, where they were with the main cast traveling with the camels a bit later down the line. Remember that one?
Yeah, I remember everything. I've seen this movie thousands of times.
That's true. Where, although, okay, well, we'll get to that later. If you want to go through it chronologically, we should. Keep it for
we're
later.
still talking about it.
Okay, well, let's just continue then.
Okay. So you start off with, they find the key. He's found the key. He gives it to Evie. She opens it up and finds a map to Hamunaptra, which is the ancient city of the dead, which is supposedly where pharaohs and royalty of ancient Egypt were buried, as well as all of their treasures and stuff. So they're like, oh my God, this is a great discovery. So they go to tell the curator of the museum of which Evie works at, and then he kind of accidentally burns the map, saying that, you shouldn't go looking for this place, or accidentally burns the map because, many people have tried. Yeah, you know how they are. He says you shouldn't try looking for this place because many have tried and they all fail. It's not even a real place. You shouldn't do this. But like Evie's like, I'm going to do it anyway because you know how women are. And so Jonathan says, well, there's a guy. Well, basically off screen, he goes, well, there's a guy who could probably help us, which is the guy he essentially stole the key from. And
we should have probably started with him.
Oh, true, but it's fine. That's thing's not important.
Okay.
Like, people, if you want to watch this, you can watch it yourself. By all means, you should. But for now, this is just a brief discussion of us going on about the movie and how we liked it. And so they go to the prison to meet up with this guy. Turns out he was having a bit of fun, too much fun. Yep, Rick O'Connell. He was having fun. He got thrown in prison.
Do we actually know why he got in jail for? Yeah,
he was having a good time. Wink.
Really? I thought
wink.
It was I thought it was connected to the wars he fought in, like more of a political prisoner, you know.
Well, how would Jonathan have stolen the key off him if he was in jail? Chances are he was probably thrown in there after a drunken brawl. Or, ladies of the night, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you know what I mean?
Okay, well.
Back in the day, just saying.
In Egypt, though?
Yeah, why not? Well, this was, like, English colonized areas, so it wasn't, it was the English...
Who knows what's going on there?
Yeah, it was, like, very complicated historical stuff. So, he's in jail. They go to him, hey... we'll get you out if you take us here. They do manage to get him out. Of course, they have to bring the warden with them as per the deal.
Not just the warden. He was like the entire overseer of that whole thing. He wasn't actually in charge.
Well, that's what a warden is, dear.
Aren't wardens just like regular prison guards?
No, wardens are the big main guy in the prison.
Well, that's what he is then.
Yay!
Which honestly, I think he's a bit of a wasted opportunity for a character, but I guess we'll get to that later as well.
Well, I think the point was he was supposed to be this greedy person, which he is, where Evie's like, if you let Rick O'Connell, go, we'll give you a certain percentage of the gold we find from this place. So he agrees.
That wasn't what I meant. Like, he is corrupt, yeah, but I think there was a kind of like chill on him for that. Like, he is not just letting them bribe himself. He's also like, okay, so you're saying this ancient legendary city is true, okay, we're letting him go, but I will personally come with you. I'll leave my whole prison that I'm supposed to oversee or guard or warden or whatever behind. I don't know, I think it is a bit of a power move.
Well, but to be fair, he did say it was to protect his investment. Like, he's going to make sure he gets what he's owed. He's not going because he wants, like, he cares or whatever. He's going because he's like, if I go, you can't skip out on me. Like, I get my money if I go.
I mean, for sure, but other than that, like, if you don't look at that, he was a pretty chill fella.
Oh yeah, he was pretty chill, for sure.
Which, I guess, spoilers, he dies somewhere in the middle of the movie. And I don't know, I feel like they could have done more with him. And, like, they found him dead, and basically they just went, oh my god. Well, so anyway.
Well, yeah, because he didn't mean much to them. Why would they care?
Oh, yeah, but I don't know. Well, at this point, they spent quite a while with him. They survived that burning ship and traveled through the desert. They talked quite a bit. I don't know. I figured there might be something.
Nah.
You know?
He's just some warden guy. He was always meant to die. He wasn't a character that was supposed to be overly close to anyone. He was just there for himself, and the others didn't really like him all that much anyway. So if he ended up dying somehow, they're not going to care. He's just dead now. It is what it is.
I don't know. I feel like there could have been done more there.
I think it was perfect. He was a character created to die, and he did his job.
No, that's the worst. Thing is, with characters, they don't have to be necessarily much in depth. They don't all have to be like Yagamis to be considered good characters, you know? If you give a character enough stuff to the point where they're recognizable, to the point where the viewers or watchers can go, okay, well, this is character X, this is character Y. If you manage that, if you give them enough recognizability, then, well, it's the basics for a good character, you know?
Yeah, but like you can have a good...
And I think there was something like that with him. Like I mentioned, this kind of chill on him, the way he kind of easily abandoned his post just for, well, money, I guess. But still, I don't know, I think there could have been done more there. I think it's a bit of a wasted chance.
You can have characters that seem relatively interesting and cool and then kill them off straight away. Like, it's not uncommon. It happens in anime a lot where a character will pop up, you think they're cool, and all of a sudden they die, and it's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, so give me one example.
Oh, I could give you a few, really.
Shoot.
Oh, or you can get attached to a character really quickly and they do something horrible to them, and it's like, oh, no.
Okay, well, okay, but that's another thing. Okay, that's true.
Because I can talk about Full Metal Alchemist, a specific episode. I think people who know. I don't want to go into it because that made me cry. But there is an episode where you're like, oh my god, this is nice. And then, it's not nice anymore. This is so not nice.
But the warden wasn't supposed to be like that. He was just gotten rid of prematurely.
Yeah, but it was to show that essentially the place is cursed.
It's dangerous.
And it's dangerous. He goes off on his own, which we'll get to, and he ends up dying because of his greed. It is what it is.
Well, I don't know. I liked him.
Yeah, I liked him too, but he wasn't a character meant to last. So after...
Fun thing when movies do that, but alright.
It does happen. But so they grab O'Connell, the warden decides he wants to go too, he has to protect his assets, they get on a ship, they start heading off to Hamanuptra, where they meet a group of Americans. Rick O'Connell is American, by the way, as well. They meet another group of Americans led by a Egyptologist who has like 4 other American cowboys there to protect him because it's dangerous out there. And there's
also another character we meet.
Oh yeah, Benny.
That we've seen before, yeah.
Who was a friend of O'Connell.
Yeah, so the actual beginning of the movie was O'Connell and Benny fighting in some war. I'm not really...
Well, they were protecting what they found. They found Hymenoptera and then a bunch of Egyptians.
Which is why they went to Rick in the first place, because he allegedly knew where that is because he was literally there.
Yeah.
No, and Benny is basically doing the same thing now, but for the Americans. And also, he is a bit of a pushover. And while Jonathan was a bit annoying through the entire movie, but still fun to watch, Benny was right down obnoxious.
Yeah, but he was designed that way because he is a bad guy.
Yeah. The thing is, opportunism isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, it makes sense, but...
Yeah, I never blamed him, of course.
But it's easy to portray opportunists as these little schemy guys.
But I think, again, they portrayed him well. Like, he suits what he's doing. Like, he's a little Weasley character who is doing anything and everything he can to not die.
No, definitely. Whatever I said about the Warden with the good characters don't necessarily have to be that deep applies here as well, for sure. Well, right off the bat, it applies for everyone, I would say. They aren't, let's be real, they aren't really that deep. Like, Evelyn, 90% of her character is just archaeologist.
Damsel in distress. She's 90% of her character is damsel in distress.
10% archaeologist.
10% archaeologist, because she literally does nothing but raise a mummy and cause chaos.
Actually true.
Right?
Well, she does open the key as well.
It's all her fault, really. Yeah.
Well, if we want to go that route, technically, if Jonathan didn't find the thing...
Yeah, but you can find the place and not read from the cursed book. Like, even the Egyptologist was like, yeah, we found the book, but I'm not going to fucking read from it.
But to be fair, in those situations, you usually don't think of that.
Well, maybe stupid people don't. I do. I'm like, oh, a cursed book? I better not read from this.
What's the name? What's people like that called?
Smart people?
No. Definitely. Who believe in all those kind of things.
Superstitious people?
Yes.
Look,
yes.
I don't believe in ghosts, but I'm not going to fuck around with a Ouija board just in case. I'm just saying, it's okay to be cautious. Just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean you can't be worried just in case. Like, you know, I'm agnostic to a point. Like, it's like, oh, is it real? If it is real, I'm not going to fuck with it just in case it is real. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I think it's real. I just won't mess with it just in case it might be. Doesn't hurt to be safe.
I guess with that mindset, it makes sense. How do we get here? Yeah, what I was saying, I think every character in the movie was to a point characterized enough where like they were recognizable, they were definitely themselves, but yeah, let's be real, they aren't the most deep characters either.
Well, no, it's not a deep movie. It's just a fun action horror comedy thing. So it's not
Indiana
a
Jones,
deep.
like.
Yeah, it's not a deep, like a movie that you go, oh, very profound, very deep, oh, the meaning. It's just a fun time. So while they're on the ship, the Egyptologists, they're looking for Hymenoptera as well. And Benny's helping them out, I guess, because of reasons. And then Jonathan has a bet with them.
Opportunism.
Yeah, has a bet with them that, oh, you know, who can get there first will put in a certain amount of money. It's great. So while they're on the ship...
then he proceeded to throw him off the ship.
Yeah, well, the ship was on...
That?
Yeah, Rick did throw Benny off the ship because, to be fair, Benny did leave him for dead back during that fight at the start of the movie when they were at Hymenoptera. So it just throws him off the ship.
That's where his character shined through, from the literal second he was shown.
Yeah, like they also have a relationship where it's like they are friends, but it's more of a, you know, that those friends where they're just so annoying and it's like, but they're still your friends, but like you kind of just, you know what I mean? It's one of those friends. Some groups have those friends where it's like they're just so annoying, but you're friends. I guess not. Frenemies. Some groups have friends like that.
Hopefully not.
But anyway, so the ship gets attacked by the Magi, which are essentially ancestors of the original bodyguards of the Pharaoh, because they know that they're heading to Hamunaptra and they don't want them to get there.
Was that explained?
Huh?
Really?
Yeah.
But they're ancestors?
Yeah, it was.
I didn't catch that.
Jeez, you're not paying attention to the movie. But they're ancestors of the Pharaoh's bodyguards, so they're
essentially they're like a secret order about to protect and keep everyone out of that place, prevent anyone from finding it, yada yada.
Yes.
Not really interacting with the regular society, staying in the shadows, except for one case, but that we get later too as well.
So they get attacked by them because obviously they don't want them finding the place. So the ship gets set on fire. There's chaos everywhere. They have to abandon ship. So O'Connell, Evie, Jonathan, the warden end up getting separated on one side of the river while everyone else literally on the other side. Except O'Connell's on the right side of the river while Benny and everyone else is on the wrong side. But
which doesn't really matter in the end because both parties end up finding the place at literally the exact same time.
But it was just for comedy's sake, just for a laugh. Yeah. Like, because Benny's like, you know, I have everyone over here with me. I have all these horses. I have the American sold like people. Like, I'm pretty set. Whereas then O'Connell shoots back, yeah, but I'm on the right side of the river. So it's just a funny little thing. So then they have to go find, obviously, horses, but they end up with camels. But camels are fine anyway. So they find a little village.
In the desert, camels are better than horses.
Yeah, they are definitely better. So they end up with camels.
They're literally made for that environment. So
indeed. So they get their camels. Evie gets a change of clothes. She's looking good. Rick's starting to think, oh, look at this. She a snack. Anyway, they set off on a journey. They keep going to Hamunaptra. Eventually, they get there, and at the same time as the other group. And their bet's still in.
A bit of a race towards there.
Yep, because their bet's still in play. So as soon as Hamunaptra shows itself, they start racing to see who gets there first, because whoever gets there first gets the money. And Evie ends up winning because, well, I don't know, pretty girl gets to win, show that she's not just a pretty girl, you know what I mean? Yay! So then now they're all in Hamunaptra, they're starting their dig, they're looking for stuff, you know? They're having fights though, because like one team with the Egyptologist is like, oh, we found this first. And then Evie's like, oh, no, we found this first. But then she's smart. So she's like, oh, we'll go somewhere else to dig. And so they do. And eventually they find the mummy. Well, a sarcophagus that the key opens.
Technically, before that, they were raided by that secret order.
Well, that was after they found the sarcophagus.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, right. They found it first, but they didn't do with it anything yet.
Yeah, it was after the fight, and then Evie's like, that's when they start doing stuff. It's a whole thing, but basically they find the sarcophagus that's like, oh look, there's a mummy inside. The other team finds the Book of the Dead, and also a curse, because on the box that the Book of the Dead is in, it says there's some jars, you know, there's little Egyptian organ jars. And whoever opens the box, whoever takes these jars, you know, if the mummy were to come back to life, you know, they will be essentially used as a sacrifice to regenerate him. But of course, the Americans are stupid, let's just be honest. And they take the things and, well, now they're cursed. But it's okay so long as the mummy doesn't come back. But, you know, we'll get back to that later. And then during the night, they do then get attacked, like Allah said, by the Magi again.
Yeah, which doesn't really end with anything. Like, they raid them. They didn't really accomplish much. Rick ends up lighting a dynamite.
Pretty cool.
And then they're like, basically, oh, wait, chill. actually just here to warn you, and then they.
Well, they did
Go
kill a
off,
bunch of diggers. They were going to kill
did
them.
they though?
Yeah, they killed a couple people. No one important, but side characters.
Well, essentially, they still failed at their job.
Because Rick went kamikaze mode.
What's I guess their job isn't that important either. If they're not willing to take that into account.
Guess not. It was funny.
How they just left? I don't know. I think it was a bit pathetic.
Because Rick grabs a bit of dynamite and he sets it up. He's basically saying, I'm going to take us all out. Including us with this dynamite. And so the main guy, I forget his name, but he's like, oh shit, okay, I don't want everyone to die here. We'll back up. We'll give you a chance one day. You better leave or we'll be back.
One dynamite, and especially on open air like that, wouldn't have done that much.
Yeah, but it's a movie.
All I'm saying is they could have prevented the movie from awakening.
Yeah, they could have, but then there wouldn't be a movie.
Yeah, but what we ended up with is a basically useless, organization / ancestors of bodyguards.
Yeah, they were pretty useless. You're right, but if they had done their job, there wouldn't be a movie. But it does show how badass Rick is to the point where he's like, I will literally blow us all up if you don't fuck off. I'll kill us all. He's not someone to mess with. He's a tough guy.
The point of using 2 revolvers.
It's pretty badass.
At the same time,
pretty cool.
No. I don't think I've seen anyone use 2 revolvers at once in any...
Have you played Red Dead Redemption?
Oh no, what?
My god, that's a beautiful masterpiece. You should play it. Gorgeous.
It's a long game.
It is long, but it's worth it.
Well,
it's beautiful.
Are you saying there is an option to equip 2 revolvers, or is there a character? Or but that's a game. Come on.
Oh, it's a game. It's different.
No, but if you have the free option to do weird stuff, that's
not weird.
That's on you.
Cowboys used to dual wield back in the day.
Revolvers.
Yeah, revolvers. Guns existed.
How are you gonna reload them?
Well, the point is to kill everyone before you get shot.
You're not Deadpool.
I could be. Nimbus pool. Dead Nimbus.
Point is, sometimes with portraying things, you go a little bit too far, and I can clearly say the double revolvers, they didn't have to be.
But it is honestly an exaggeration of what they are. It is an action movie, so you want as much action. It's not about whether or not it's optimal. It's about action fun. It is a movie after all.
It wasn't fun seeing that.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was hot. Dude, I'd do Brendan Fraser, even now.
I couldn't watch that. Nah.
What? You want to watch me and Brendan Fraser? Fuck yeah, we'll make millions.
Let's continue.
I used my special attack. It confused him. Anyway.
Yeah, you're good at that.
I am.
At saying nonsense.
It's not nonsense. It could happen. I don't know. He's still alive. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, right. So after the attack, normal stuff happens. Blah, blah, blah. Egyptology. At some point, Evie, the warden ends up dying before they find the crypt because, he wanders off on his own looking for treasure, and instead he finds, these bugs called... Bejeweled,
scarabs.
Scarabs, right. But he thinks that they're actual jewels, but it's just the carapaces of the scarab. And unfortunately, one of them wakes up, burrows into his skin, eats up into his brain, starts slowly eating him alive, which obviously he can feel, and he ends up ramming himself into a wall, killing himself.
The others find him and go basically OMG. Well, in either way.
It was pretty neat to watch. So he's dead. It's a shame. He was he was a likable character, but you know.
I know that there was another movie that reminded me of. I don't know how it's called, or if you've seen it. It's basically about a random meteor crashing into Earth, and it like carrying some otherworldly bacteria or something, and then in a random underground it starts growing and spreading.
Oh, evolution.
And there was also a scene. Oh, is it?
And the mosquito
there
bug.
There was also yeah. It's literally the exact same thing, but in this case, for the warden, it was a bit too late. Unfortunately, no one came to his rescue.
But no one could either. The bug was in his brain. This was back in the day too, with no technology, so they wouldn't have been able to do anything if they knew what was happening.
Missed opportunity.
But what? It's not a sci-fi movie. They have no doctors there. How are they going to help him?
By writing a different script.
Well, that's not how the story rolls. We have to show how dangerous everything is. Some people have to die for the sake of the film, for the art. Anyway, so Evie, at some point, after realizing that the Egyptologist has found the Book of the Dead, sneaks over to him while he's asleep and takes the book from him to, read it because she's interested in it and she can read Egyptian. So she opens it up using her key.
Egyptian.
Yeah, old ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs and stuff. So she uses her key to open the book, and for some stupid reason, she decides to read from it out loud, which is never a good idea. Even though Rick told her, look, you probably shouldn't be doing that. But she's like, no, I'm going to do it anyway because, well, women won't be listening to shit if they want to do something. I can say that because I am one. Anyway. So she reads from the book. It revives the mummy that they found earlier because duh. So then the Egyptologist wakes up and he's like, oh shit, don't read from the book. It's too late though. She already did. And then a swarm of locusts shows up and starts like essentially attacking them, like a legit massive swarm, like crickets everywhere. And so they run back into the crypt to get away from them, which is where Evelyn gets separated from Rick and Jonathan, and she runs into the mummy, who has also just recently attacked one of the Americans, whom was one who opened up the box where the jars were kept, and he is one of the sacrifices. He starts to suck out his life force in order to regenerate himself, but only manages to do half a job. He's only taken his eyes and his tongue because he was interrupted by Evie. Who then...
I don't think that's the case.
Oh no, it was the case.
No, well, because there were 5 people who opened that box and took the jars.
Yeah.
The point was to kill every one of them.
Yes.
And only then would he fully regenerate. One, even without interrupting the regeneration, wouldn't have been much more than he already got.
Yeah, but he was only able to take a small bit before Evie showed up and interrupted.
He took small bits from every one of those 5.
No, that was the only one. When he ran into the other ones, he took them all straight away.
Well...
don't you remember how everyone else died straight away, but the first guy, the blind guy, didn't die straight away because Evie interrupted the process?
I don't know if that's the case, honestly.
Because everyone else died essentially instantly because no one else was there to help them.
Well, maybe it's also because after devouring the first bit of the first one, he's got more power.
Yeah, but he had to kill them all anyway. It was part of the curse. So he had to go back and kill the original guy. He wasn't able to stop. He wasn't able to do it the first time, so he had to kill him. Because the curse is...
well, that is actually true. Maybe you're right.
You're right.
Maybe.
Maybe. He ends up mistaking Evie for his girlfriend who died because, or to be fair, the eyes that he absorbed were the blind guy's eyes, so he couldn't see very well. He thought that it was his girlfriend and not Evie. Tried to kiss her, which of course she's freaking out because it's a literal mummy, it's a dead guy. But then Rick shows up with Jonathan, and he shoots it because duh, he's gonna shoot it, why wouldn't you? They grab Evie, they run out, And the Magi rock up again, and he's all like, oh no, you did the thing that we didn't want you to do. Oh no, the world's gonna end. And then everyone's like, it's okay, I shot him. Like Rick's like, I shot him, it's fine. And he's like, no, it's not fine. That's not gonna kill him, he's already dead. So they end up hightailing it out of there because, well, after of course saving the blind guy because he's not quite dead yet. He's just got his tongue and his eyes ripped out.
Technically, first things first, they kinda give up already.
Which is
They're like,
fair.
oh well, whatever. The mummy is awake. Either way, we can do whatever we want now.
Well, they can't stop him. They have to find a weapon to kill him first. He's already dead. They can't just shoot him with a gun like Rick did. It doesn't keep him dead.
But the way they all kind of anonymously gave up was a bit funny, you have to admit.
Yeah, but
like,
again,
oh well, whatever. We tried. We did our best.
The
Good
movie,
job.
you kind of have to.
Oh no, I think it was like it's a joke. Well done, I would say. I like it.
But so they all leave, except Benny's been left behind because, well, he ran off on his own. So he's still down there. He gets found by the mummy. He starts praying in multiple different languages, trying to find a religion that could potentially save him. He ends up speaking Jewish, which, you know, back in the day, there's a whole biblical thing about that. But the mummy goes, okay, this guy could potentially be useful.
Now.
Yeah, you can be if you help me, then I won't kill you, obviously. So he becomes the mummy's, like, assistant to keep himself alive.
Henchman.
Whatever, he's
Assistant
henchman.
is a bit...
Assistant is neither.
Well, but it's not what he was. He was literally just a henchman.
Yeah, he was a
not
henchman.
An assistant. Yeah, he was literally just running around doing errands for the mummy.
An assistant.
A henchman.
So,
do you think he got paid? I don't think so.
Well, he got paid with not being killed. And the mummy did say, if you help me, I will give you riches. So, you
It's
know.
more of a contract-based work then.
Assistant, just like a job.
Henchman.
So everyone ends up going back to the main city, which I'm pretty sure is Cairo. And Evie's like, oh, we have to go back. We have to stop the mummy. You know, we brought him to life. And then Rick's all like, fucking you brought him back to life. We're leaving. We're not dealing with this, which is fair. But then Evie's like, no, we have to, blah, blah, blah. They get into a fight. But he's like, yeah, we ain't doing shit. We're going home. So while she's kind of like chin-chillin' and all that jazz, the Benny and the mummy rock up again. They go back to the blind guy's place to finish the job by sucking out his soul so that the mummy can regenerate.
The mummy basically ravages a bit and kills every one of those 5 jar bearers one by one.
Yeah, eventually grabbing all, including the Egyptologist as well. So all 4 of the Americans and the Egyptologist, he sucks them dry, regenerating himself. So he's like fully maxed out power. He's back to his boss mode kind of thing. And during all this, obviously a lot of stuff happens. A lot fucking happens. But basically, Evie, Rick, and Jonathan try to find a way to kill him. And they find out about the Book of the Living, or the Golden Book, the Book of Amun-Ra. So this book has the potential to like kill the mummy, the undead creature, but they have to find it. And before they could essentially go back to Hamunaptra, which is where it is, it's just hidden in a different place there, the mummy comes up and says, look, if Evie comes with me, I will spare everyone else, you know, like that. And of course, Rick is like, oh no, well, I'm not giving you Evie because like he likes her. But she's like, if I go with them, then you guys can live and go find the book and save me later. But of course, the mummy's like, yeah, nah, bruh, it was a joke. I'm going to kill him anyway. But they managed
Which is a power move.
Yeah, you know. But they managed to escape anyway, so it's fine. So now everyone's heading back to Hamunaptra because the mummy is going to sacrifice Evie as a human sacrifice to bring back his actual girlfriend. And Rick and the others are going to Hamunaptra to find the Book of Amun-Ra to kill him, so that obviously they can save the world and save Evie. So now they're all back in Hamunaptra. It's great. Except this time, the mummy, because he's fully maxed out on his power, has managed to revive. Also, he has the Book of the Dead now because he killed the Egyptologist and took it from him. He's able to revive some other mummies to use as his basically army of the undead to try and keep Rick and the others away, but obviously no, because it fails because Rick's a badass and he's an American with a gun. So
2 guns, I guess.
So the massive fun fight starts happening. It's a fun finale, but ultimately the heroes save the day. They use the Book of Amun-Ra to give the mummy back his mortality so that they then can kill him because he's human. So once that's all done, Hamunaptra starts falling apart, sinking into the sand. They all have to get out.
They didn't technically kill him. They sent him back.
Well, once he became mortal, Rick did stab him right through the stomach, so that would have killed him.
Okay.
And then he sunk into this liquid stuff and mummified again.
Got taken away.
Yeah. And then, of course, he's dead again. And so they all have to bail. Benny's trying to go as well. Rick does try to help him, but it's too late and Benny gets trapped. But Rick, Jonathan, the Magi guy, and Evie get out. They all live happily ever after. Benny gets eaten alive by bugs, and that's essentially the end of the story.
Better than starving with nothing than gold around you, to be honest.
Yeah, like he and with all those bugs, it was definitely a quick death, but like he's dead. He died. He got what he, I guess, deserved. He was helping the bad guy.
Again, it's easy to portray opportunists as these kind of types of characters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, I get, if you want to protect yourself, you'd do anything 100%. But if you're doing really horrible stuff just to keep yourself alive, at some point you do become an asshole.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, not every opportunist would do that, you know?
Yeah.
It's still a matter of portrayal. But in his case, he was set up like this kind of character from the very beginning.
Yeah, so you pretty
abandoning
much
his
knew.
Comrades in fight. So yeah.
Yeah, you knew he was a rat.
It's not a surprise at this point.
But yeah, that's that. So I liked the movie. It's not a super, like we said before, it's not a super serious.
I have to say though, that wasn't a summary. That was a whole ass retelling.
I don't know. I thought it was fun. I like to retell movies. I think it's fun.
I mean, it was fun, but it took 40 minutes to do that.
Yeah, it did. But we did have discussions while we were talking.
Okay.
You didn't like it?
No, it was alright. I just have more stuff to tell yet.
Yeah, which we can tell now. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah.
You start talking.
Well, okay. Overall, I like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Explained in very simple words. A few things stood out to me right off the bat. Like, again, I'll start more generally and going in details later. First off, actually, one thing that stood out to me was the pacing. Because, yeah, it is an older movie, 1999.
Mm-hmm.
And, generally, as of a trend, older movies, thinking of Alien, even though I haven't watched it, like Matrix, oh my gosh, the Lord of the Rings movies, all of them, pacing-wise, pretty slow, especially in the beginning, which isn't a bad thing. It's just movies nowadays are much more faster and not as slow pacing-wise.
It's because people have short attention spans and can't focus for too long.
Well, it is a whole nother discussion, but either way, I was expecting something like that, or at least something like in the vein of Matrix 1, where the beginning was very slow, and then more climax stuff happened at the end. But this was actually pretty fast-paced, I would say. More akin to modern movies, no? Because if you think about it, no scene was drawn out for too long. Like, everything happened pretty much closely, one by one scene after another. And even if one scene took its time, then they would at least try to squeeze in one joke or so. So, very efficient time-wise, which I, again, didn't expect. I would have been fine with a slower pace. Don't get me wrong, but it was definitely a positive surprise, for me at least.
No, I suppose it's because it was also an action movie, and the thing with action movies is you can't have it too slow for too long. Otherwise, people lose interest.
But Lord of the Rings and
is that really an action
Matrix,
movie?
Well, Matrix for sure.
Because like the Lord of the Rings does have action in it, you're right, but it's more of a story. It's more of an epic journey than it is an action movie.
You know what else is an action movie? Technically,
What?
Seven Samurais.
I haven't seen
it. My fucking nemesis, which I'll tell you, it's not. It's not short and concise at all. It's fucking 3 hours of just long stretch pain. Blah. Well, either way, was a positive surprise.
Yeah, it was good. It wasn't too slow. It wasn't too speedy. It had a good, I think the pace was good. I think it went from one thing to the next thing. I thought it was good. It kept me engaged.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So
yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. So again, pretty positively surprised on that note. Then when you suggested that one and described it as a funny movie, to be honest, I had my doubts about that, not gonna lie, especially after reading what it was. But to my surprise, actually the jokes were kind of hilarious.
Yeah, it was
They
funny.
were pretty on point most of the time, which I didn't expect, to be honest, but damn were they good.
But it wasn't just the jokes, it was the characters' interactions as well, like how there was a scene when they lock Evelyn in a room because Evie's like, I want to go out and help stop the mummy, and the Americans were like, I want to stay here and not be anywhere near the mummy because they don't want to die. So Rick locks Evelyn in the room, tells the Americans, you're going to stay here and watch her so she doesn't get out, and Jonathan's going to go with him to sort out like what's happening. And then he's like, come on, we're going, and Jonathan's like, nah, I'm going to stay here. Rick's like, now. Jonathan just goes. It's just funny. Like the way the characters interact with each other, I think, is very good as well.
My favorite joke again was with the camels. So when the entire main cast was traveling through the desert and Jonathan was at the very front and complaining about the camels, like, oh, I hate these creatures. They bite and spit and burp. And then the camera shifts to the warden, who exactly at this moment spits as well and goes, yeah, same.
Yeah.
Which the timing, honestly, that was perfectly done. I love that one a lot. My favorite joke out of the movie by far.
Like it does I think the humor well as well. So not only is it well paced, but it also has like humor that just fits. It's not forced. It just fits and it works well and it's funny.
What's your favorite favorite funny moment that you recall off the top of your head?
I just liked it all. I don't have a favorite moment. I just love the movie so much. The whole thing. I love watching it. I've seen it so many times. I love going back and watching it again and again and again and again. I just love it so much.
Okay, well, one other scene I wanted to bring up, joke-wise. So, at the very end, when they were breaking into the city again, Evelyn was already tied down on that stone table, and Rick had to fight off those mummies, which he does. They all lie on the ground, at least for a short period of time. And then, after they're all defeated, he turns around, does this smug, cocky smile, and just goes, mummies. Like, honestly, like, what does it even mean? Why does he say that just randomly?
Because mummies.
No, but why does he smile like that while saying that?
Because the mummies they're mummies, dude. They're mummies.
Yeah, but
mummies, dude.
It's a moment where it's so dumb that it's ridiculous and hilarious. But like, why?
The movie is ridiculous and hilarious. It's good. It's just a fun movie. It doesn't matter whether it makes sense. It's just fun. Sometimes you just want fun, and that's what this movie is, definitely. It's fun.
And still, why did he say that, man? What did he mean?
I don't know. It's just fun.
Just mummies.
Mummies. Mummies. Like when I'm playing Alien and it's like aliens.
Alien.
Aliens.
Oh, there's multiple? No.
Well, there's an alien, but still. It's fun.
There's a predator.
Well, not in my game. Like, I hope not. Jesus. I don't think I could fight against the predator. That thing's a whole nother level. Anyway, back to the movie.
In any case, I was gonna gonna ask you all something. So, I haven't seen the movie previously. I didn't even know about its existence. Well, you have seen it before, obviously.
Yeah,
but
I
was initially gonna ask.
Times.
Well, I didn't know that you rewatch it that frequently. I was gonna ask if rewatching it kind of, changed some viewpoints or some thoughts or if anything stayed exactly the same as it was.
No, it's always like if I really like a movie, then I'll rewatch it like over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like maybe once a week. I still watch Alien. Like I'll watch Alien like once every couple of weeks just because I like it so much.
I knew.
And I do the same with The Mummy. I'll just put that on sometimes. There are other movies that I'll watch over and over again because I just like them or I think they're funny. And like, I don't get bored of them. Yeah, like they're just good. And The Mummy is one of those movies that I can watch over and over again just because it's funny. And I just feel like the actors, they did a good job. And the characters they just feel natural. And I think with movies that have that natural feeling to it, it's easier to just rewatch them because it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like they're acting. It feels like just a fun story.
Well, that's actually an interesting take because I feel like, I would kind of categorize it as an adventure-y movie. Like they go on a journey to like mystical place because I feel like those kind of movies are very hard to rewatch because like, I don't know, journeys, what makes them exciting is that you kind of don't know what you expect. Like you go on them, or especially in movies, you like, okay, what's gonna happen next? What are they gonna encounter? But once you've seen it, you kind of know it, and it takes, at least for me personally, takes the excitement and the interest away from it. For me, it's more of an one-time experience, and then after I know it, I don't really see the point in rewatching these kind of, so it's similar to like mysteries or detectives, I guess, because once you've seen the plot or the solution, like you already know it,
That's true. I understand that as well. But sometimes for me, it's about the characters themselves. Like if the characters have fun interactions with each other, or are just fun characters to watch, then I can rewatch things. Like I've seen Supernatural. Like that's a long series. It's like 15 seasons. But because I love the characters so much and the way they interact with each other, I can sit through it and watch it again and again because it's the characters that I watch for, not necessarily the story, or the journey.
You know what? Honestly who that reminds me of?
What?
At some point, like years ago, when my sister was very little, every movie that we had on CD, she could literally recite everything from every movie that we had.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're gonna be there too.
I'm already there. I can pretty much word almost.
Recite something.
Yeah, some movies.
Recite.
Huh?
Recite.
I can't recite on cue. No. I cannot do that sing. No, I can't. I have to have the movie playing and then I can talk at the same thing. What one line? Oh, I know the perfect line. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Mummies.
I literally was gonna say that's the easy card. Well.
Anyway, any other thoughts?
Generally, as in like overviewing things, I would say that's it. Well, I guess one other thing that I wanted to mention was that the secret organization is kind of low-key useless.
Oh yeah.
But we already went over it a little bit, but that was only the foreshadowing. Because think about it this way, right? Let's take it back chronologically again, but only the encounters with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing you didn't mention was that the librarian, or not the museum owner, was actually also one of them,
Yeah,
secretly
that's
in
true.
disguise.
He was an
And-
undercover Magi.
Which actually was a really cool thing in the beginning, because if you recall the map that he was burned, at first you're like, oh man, the silly old man accidentally burning the map, but actually, if in retrospect, which also is a cool thing because it wasn't explicitly told, but in retrospect, if you think about it, he did that fucking on purpose.
Yeah, he did it on purpose so that Evie and Jonathan
Which-
wouldn't find Hamanoptera.
But also retrospectively, it's also kind of weird. You would think about that he knew exactly about the other guys, and that they would actively follow them and try to prevent them from finding it by killing them.
Well, that's
And
probably
he's
why
still-
he didn't want them to go in the first place, because he does
Well, I mean,
care
yeah,
about
but
them.
he does care, and he did try his best by burning the map, but with this knowledge in mind, he could have tried a little bit harder. Although I guess he did try to discourage them.
It's true, but what if Evie and Jonathan, well, Evie was the one who wanted to go out and do it, but what if she did it without telling him? Like, obviously he said, look, you shouldn't follow this, you shouldn't do this because, you know, blah, 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 people die. So Evie decides, I'm going to go anyway. Doesn't tell him what she's doing. So he not necessarily would have known that she had gone off on her own.
I thought so too, but they still got followed.
Yeah,
and
but not
still
by
got attacked,
him.
so-
Like,
Well, no, but
and I doubt that
I
he
would
would have the
assume-
power to, like, tell the entire organization to not kill them.
I would assume he does. That is literally the entire point why he isn't outside of society like the rest of them, no?
But
He is like
could-
the one link, the one connection to the main city, to Cairo, and he's like the information network, basically.
Yeah, true.
What-
But if the group
So,
is trying to stop people from going, they're not going to leave survivors. If they leave a survivor, the survivor could tell someone else where it is or come back.
well, in any case, I'm not like, again, he did still try his best to prevent that, which he could have still tried a little bit more, but it's alright, he tried.
He did try.
Then later down the line, when they didn't just attack the ship, they sneakily like attacked from the shadows. They burned the ship.
Well,
they
no,
didn't really-
Evie might have accidentally set the ship on fire.
Oh, true, that was her.
Yeah.
Okay, well, in any case, they didn't really. Well, then she did more than they in that case, because I don't know, they didn't really do much. They didn't really prevent them. They basically everyone survived on that ship. I'm pretty sure they had more casualties, because as far as I remember, we did have some of the Americans shot them on screen, but we didn't see it the other way around.
Yeah, it's
As far as I
true.
remember.
I think more of the Magi died during this than any of the other people.
It's a bit embarrassing considering that's literally their one job, the one thing they trained for, and they attacked. It wasn't even a fair fight technically. They surprised them, they surprise attacked them, and they still suffered more loss than the travelers. And then later again, alright, they let them go. They find Hamanoptera. They raid them again. And well, to that I said everything earlier again. I don't think, considering that the mummy has the power to destroy the world or set it off balance. I don't know. If I was the leader there, I think knowing the importance of that job of keeping everyone out of there, I would have taken the risk. Because there's no way. Have you seen how many of those there are? Some of them were on horses. They could have easily outrun it. I believe so. But instead they go, okay, well, we're supposed to keep you out of this place, but yeah, please leave. Bye. It's... Hello?
Yeah, I'm still listening.
Yes, okay. I don't know. They did a bad job at it, let's be honest. And then, you know what the most funny part about it is?
What?
After the mummy gets awakened and sucks one of them,
Yeah, sucks
halfway,
one of them.
right? Halfway. He didn't finish.
You didn't finish him off either. I know. How rude.
No. He had to wait a few days for that.
He had to recover.
Well, either way. They encounter them again, but this time, instead of swords and horses, there was with full-on automatic rifles. And I'm like, alright, if you had them all this fucking time, why didn't you use them previously?
Maybe
why
they
didn't
didn't
you
have
use
any.
them on the ships? Why didn't you use them while they raided their fucking camps?
Because it's a movie.
Yeah, but this is a plot hole, is what it's called.
Sure, it's a movie. If they do all the big stuff at the start, there's no movie.
No, but why even give them guns at that point? I mean, at this point, it could have been just their casual swords or spears or whatever. But if they already decided to introduce guns and not just guns, what was this? Automatic rifles into that, then it of course begs the questions of why the fuck didn't you use them earlier when literally all you need to do.
You're overthinking it.
It's a plot hole. Look, there is a certain thing called suspension of disbelief. We're like, okay, it's a movie. There is a certain amount of things that I'm willing to accept that just work like this in this world, alright? But other than that, I want an immersive experience. I don't know how it's for you, but when I watch a movie, obviously, I'm not thinking that it's real, of course, I'm still there, but I don't know, you kind of just immerse in there, you just watch, and don't really think about it too much, And then when stuff like this happens, it just throws me out a little bit.
Well, I think there are different kinds of movies. Some can be very immersive, but then there are ones that are like this that aren't really designed to immerse you in a world. It's just designed for fun. And fun doesn't have to make sense.
Fun can be immersive.
Yeah, fun can be, but not all fun. What about, there are lots of different movies that are fun that don't make sense.
You're gonna say Deadpool, probably?
Well, Deadpool doesn't make sense at all, does it?
But I still think it's immersive in a way. Even with him breaking the fourth, it just feels right, There isn't really... Okay, let me describe it like this. Even though it's a movie, and even if you're not technically, fully immersed, I know you're still experiencing the story, as a thing that's happening. And then there are certain loopholes or other situations that come up which make you realize, oh no, it's just words on the paper that were written by people, and stuff happened here literally because it was written to be this way. This is the kind of disimmersion I'm talking about.
I see. Well, I guess we both feel differently in regards to immersion and
with Deadpool, even though it is fun, dumb stuff, even with breaking the fourth wall and even with Deadpool being fully aware that it's a movie, at no point did it actually feel like it was just written script, It actually felt like its own thing. It felt right, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I just think you overthink certain things a lot.
Look, I don't think it's loopholes happen everywhere. A lot of movies have them. I don't think it's much of a downgrade, but it's still a thing that I notice, and thus I felt the need to bring it up.
Right. Well, we've been going on for an hour. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Actually, about the antagonist himself.
Okay.
About the mummy. A bit of a rant again. Well, first off, let's start with that he isn't actually really a mummy. He wasn't mummified, lore-wise.
Who?
Well, the main guy, the main
He was
antagonist.
mummified. We saw him get mummified at the start of the movie.
No. That's the thing. They just threw him in the sarcophagus.
No, they wrapped him up, and they cut out his tongue, and then they put him in the sarcophagus alive. He was mummified alive.
No.
It was at the start of the movie.
Okay, scratch that. But either way, when he came out, he looked like a lump of flesh.
Yeah, because it had been thousands of years. Like he was being eaten alive by scarabs.
Yeah, well,
did you watch the movie?
Either way, it's all right. There's more that. Well, basically, what I'm trying to say is, I felt like, I don't know. I think his design was a bit goofy.
Well, he wasn't to stay a mummy. He eventually got his flesh and stuff back.
No, but that's the thing. Well, first off, I have to say, CGI-wise, it still looked good. And especially for those times, I think at those times, it must have looked photorealistic even.
Yeah, it definitely still holds up.
Yeah, but it still kind of looks goofy, and the thing is, I wouldn't complain about it too much if I didn't know how to make it better, and I think there would have been a way.
Yeah, but this was back then, like, things were different.
No. If you remember, when he first showed up in Cairo, he had this cool robe and this cool iron mask, which I think would have worked better and looked more menacing even.
Yeah, but that's not what happened.
Oh, come on. You're not even gonna argue? Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. It did look a bit more mysterious and a bit more intimidating, but at the same time, why would he need to hide himself? Like, he doesn't need to hide himself once he regenerates. He's got his flesh and stuff back. He doesn't have to hide. He's not a mummy anymore. He's like a human in appearance.
Well, he could have taken off the mask. Well, okay, so the one thing that's speaking for the way that they did it was like that you could see the progress on his body.
Yeah, because like you did want to see, like every time he sucked. One of the Americans, he would regenerate more of his body, so you could see him regenerating. If he was wearing a mask, you wouldn't really be able to see that.
To be fair, that was a cool gimmick, but also, is the gimmick really that cool?
Yeah, it was kind of cool. Like, it was a curse that he had to fulfill to regenerate his powers.
Was it cooler than his mask outfit?
Yeah.
Like, he could have kept the mask and have more of his upper body showing.
Yeah, but it's not like the mask had any significant relevance to the character. It's just something he put on so he could sneak around the city. Like, it's not like he was wearing it at the start of the movie and it symbolized something.
Well, no, but it doesn't have to.
No, you're right. Like, it doesn't have to.
If you, like, one thing that would have made it even more menacing is the fact that no facial expressions are visible on that. It was kind of just a neutral stare, which, if you want to have something, I guess, scary or something more unnaturally looking, it's a good start to get rid of something or like features that make it look human, which in this case, the lack of facial expression kind of made it, I feel like, more, like it was more scary than, or menacing, or it felt more of a threat than this kind of fleshy, lumpy monster.
But it also wasn't a horror movie, was it?
It looked like the mimic from Vita Carnes a little bit, is what it reminded me of, but a lamer version.
But it was...
And no, it wasn't
Yeah. It was more of an action comedy. It wasn't so much of a horror. It had horror elements, but it wasn't really a horror movie. So to have that, I guess, would kind of bring it out of its more lighthearted, well, not lighthearted, but like light adventure type genre, you know?
I mean, no, but it still could have had those cooler visuals.
I suppose that's something, again, that bothers you, but it doesn't bother me too much.
Well, and if you're saying it like this, do you really think they didn't try to make him scary?
I don't think they intended to make him terrifying, because eventually, most of the time, he was more humanoid than he was mummy, so...
No, but he did have these, like, scenes where he would growl at people.
Yeah.
And, like, his mouth extended in this very weird, freaky way.
It's true, like, he had times.
I think it was intended to be sorta kinda scary. Not for the sake of it being a horror movie, but just showing, hey, we have this very intimidating antagonist, you know?
Yeah. But he also was, like, once he became human, he wanted to show that he was, you know, he was basically in charge. He was smug. He wanted to see him smile, because he would smile a lot, showing that he had all this power and he was winning. He would smug and smile. If he couldn't do that, if he had a mask on.
He could have taken off the mask once he became fully human.
Yeah, but even so, it's just a slight thing that seems to just nag at you way too much.
Well, it's not really nagging. Again, I'm just bringing stuff up that I thought would be interesting to bring up.
Yeah, but I do see where you're coming from. The mask did give him a sort of more mysterious air, but I suppose I could also see why they'd want him to not have it on, so you could see the progression of his regeneration.
Again, could have been done without showing his face, but yeah, they opted in for that gimmick to 100%, and I guess they found it cooler than the mask.
But yeah, I still see where you're coming from. Does make sense, but... you know, not much one can do once a film is done. Perhaps you should make your own film.
The better mummy. No, that's...
And then he can hire Brendan Fraser.
Which, by the way, before you mentioned it, all this time I thought it was Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh my god.
Look, actors, I have face blindness when it comes to actors.
They don't even look the same.
No, they look very similar.
They really don't.
They do.
They don't. Brendan Fraser does not look like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Well, now he doesn't, but the way he
have you seen young Leonardo? By the gods, he was adorable.
Well, not young. Well, I guess I compared the young, how's he called? Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
And the nowadays Leonardo DiCaprio, which... yeah, I guess my fault for doing so, but still, I think they look very, very close. Almost like twins, even. I
think you really are blind to human faces.
Just actors.
Oh, God.
Just actors.
They don't... okay. Okay,
I can distinguish
comparison.
people, trust me.
That's an interesting comparison.
Oh, you're gonna hear that more often from me.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you'd like to touch on before we end?
Well, it's pretty much all from my side. Is there anything you would like to throw in, though?
No, I just love the movie. If I love something, the whole point is I love it. Go watch it.
Well, fair. Fair.
I'm not one that thinks about things too much. That's your job. You're the overthinker.
Well... I'm gonna force you to think about Matrix 4 and Prometheus. Don't worry about
Matrix 4. There's gonna be a lot of me arguing in those ones, I can promise you that.
Oh, Nimbus, you're gonna think about it, trust me.
It'll be me saying, it's trash because of these reasons.
Yeah, and I'll be arguing against it. Fun times.
But I think, on the whole, we both agree, at least with this movie, that it was fun and it had its...
oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was entertaining, it had funny moments, it was pretty good all around.
Even if it came across as if I'm unhappy, I was happy.
Like,
just,
for what it was.
It just nitpicks, and yeah, just felt like throwing it in because, as Nimbus said, she doesn't think about stuff, so I have to do that.
I do think about stuff, but if I enjoy something, I don't think about little details. Like, if I like something, then I like it. And it doesn't matter if this little thing bothered me because on the whole, I liked it, you know? Whereas I'm sure
guess-
you could tell with Allah that if he sees one thing that is like, oh, like the mask, then he'll just go on a rant about it.
Yeah, you're actually quite lucky with that. Well, it doesn't really matter much here because, again, overall I still liked it, but it has a scaling on it, a passive scaling. Like, the more I like something, like if I really, really love a movie or game or show or whatever, then it will actually be a problem if some things not align.
I feel like
Because it's like,
with me, I'm
like,
the
I love
opposite.
it. I want it to be perfect.
I think when I love something, I don't mind the imperfections, but if I hate something, I'll pick out all the things that I don't like. Like, I'm the opposite to you. If you like something, you'll pick out the imperfections. If I hate something, I'll pick out the imperfections.
Well, it depends. It depends. I just feel like, again, if something doesn't quite add up, it can ruin something, but I guess we'll see more of that in future episodes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's going to be more of these. Mostly, who knows if anyone's actually going to watch these, but basically it's just me and Allah arguing about movies for like an hour, give or take.
I'm Nimbus co-host, by the way.
Yeah.
I was going to say that in the beginning, but Nimbus just kept talking.
Sorry, I do that. Sometimes I don't shut up.
That's fine. It's funnier that way.
It's fine that I don't shut up. But if I talk too much, feel free to tell me to shut up.
Nah, I'll just start talking.
I do shut up sometimes.
No, I won't. Either way, if that's all from our ends, rating.
Yeah. Well, I would give the movie, I think it's a fun, entertaining, action, adventure, comedy kind of a movie that you can just sit down, put on and like enjoy. Like, you don't have to overthink too much. It's not overly serious, and it's got moments where it's like, it's funny, you know, like you go, oh, haha, like it's not something that'll bring you down or make you cry or upset you. It's just a nice, fun action adventure. It's got a little bit of horror in it to keep you excited, and the characters are fun, and it's just a nice, it's great. You could watch it with a family too. Like, it's not so scary. You couldn't watch it with kids. So on the whole, I would give it, for what it is, I'd give it, there are moments. So I reckon a 9 out of 10, because there are moments like that. It's like, well, Evie's an idiot if she didn't read from the book. Like, that's the one thing. It's like, if she didn't read from the Book of the Dead, then the whole movie wouldn't have happened. It's just because she was a stupid bitch and decided to read from the magic book. So yeah, I'd give it a 9 out of 10, which I think is pretty good.
Of all things, it's the one you pick on. Well,
that's the one that annoys me, is that it's an ancient book called the Book of the Dead, and she reads from it. That annoys me.
If I ever find something like that, I'll read it just to annoy you, just so you know.
I would not help you. If you go, I read from a book and I'm cursed, can you help me? I'd say fucking no. Go deal with it yourself. I'm not touching that. Jesus. But what would you rate it?
Well, honestly, I was thinking more of a 7, like between 6 and 7 out of 10. Not because of all the nitpicking stuff I mentioned before. Like, as you said, it is a fun joyride. But I feel like for me to give it a higher rating, I don't know, there should have been more. Like, there is enough in it. Again, it's fun, it's entertaining, but that's pretty much all there is, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm settling down for more like a 7. Like,
Yeah,
it's a good
I
movie,
understand. I get that.
but there is better ones out there.
Fair. That's fair.
And
It's
especially
fair.
with, like, I don't know, movies like Matrix.
No.
And so, you know, like, there are just movies that rank up higher, and I'm not willing to let it share the same spot as them.
I usually prefer things that are more fun, that you can switch your brain off. It seems Ala's more interested in things that make you think. Or has more depth. Let's say has more depth.
Well, to be fair, Death Note is your favorite.
It's one of my favorite anime. Yeah. But it's only because Light is a freaking insane psychopath, not because the story makes me think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's not what you said to me, but okay, let's leave it at that.
But also because I guess it does make you think a little bit. But ultimately, anime is on a different level than a Western movie.
No, I would argue there are some very good competitors. Ooh, you know, one that we should also include at some point?
Mm-hmm.
Which may, like, something like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I haven't seen that one, but I heard it was good.
You didn't?
I haven't seen it, but I can watch it if we do decide to talk about it.
This movie is brilliant. I can tell right off the bat, on my scales, it would have been a 10 out of 10. And okay, no, I'm not.
Yeah, we won't talk about it too much.
Yeah.
We'll watch it and we'll come back to it later because I haven't seen it. No spoilers.
It's a future thing.
All right. So yeah, that was our review and general thoughts on The Mummy.
The Mummy
with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, and next time's gonna be the continuation, the second one, Mummy 2? Question mark.
Yeah, possibly The Mummy 2. There is a second one. I do not want to do the third one because it sucks donkey dick. But also,
yeah, we
exchange
did the deal
for not doing the third one, I have to do The Matrix 4, which sucks, but I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
Well, not just we also agreed on the other Mummy one, the most recent one.
Yes, we have to watch the one with Tom Cruise in it, which I've seen, but
it's good, Nimbus.
It's not. But we'll talk about that next time. So,
yes. Generally, since it's the first episode, whenever we encounter movie series, we're planning on doing them all at once. Movie by movie.
Yeah, to a point.
Series.
If we feel one of the movies just doesn't matter, like, let's be honest, all the Jaws sequels are freaking trash. We're not going to watch those. But the original Jaws, that's different. You know what I mean? Like, if we feel the sequel doesn't add absolutely anything to the series as a whole or anything like that, we just won't include it.
In other words, we're watching what we want to watch either way.
Yeah, basically, whatever and we'll trade things off. Like, I don't want to watch this, and then we can do this in return, kind of a thing. We'll trade movies.
Even though I was really excited for the third one. But,
it was trash, and I'm letting you watch the Tom Cruise one. Which I also don't like. Not only that, but I'm also going to watch the fourth Matrix again, even though I hated that. So I think that's a fair trade. I think it's a fair trade.
Fine.
Anyway, any last words? I'm about to hang up.
No, I think this was all for now.
All right. So, hope you enjoyed.
Massively overextended.
Yeah, well, we've been going for an hour and a half, but I had fun. Did you have fun?
Yes.
Yay. Hope you guys had fun too. So, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Say goodbye.
Bye-bye.